When the mosquitoes are tormenting you on the patio again this evening, the first thing you reach for is usually the same: a can from the hardware store, a plug-in vaporizer, a quick spray, and for the moment there's peace. But that spray hits exactly the wrong targets. It kills bees, butterflies, and ladybugs right along with the mosquitoes. It can be poison for your cat, and the actual source of the mosquitoes, just a few steps away from you, keeps bubbling along completely undisturbed. Your grandmother knew a gentler way, from a time when these shelves full of chemicals didn't even exist yet. Her tricks cost almost nothing, they were sitting in every kitchen, and not one of them ever harmed a bee or a pet. I'll show you one particular trick, her most famous one, in just a moment. But that one trick is only the beginning. Grandma's real secret was an entire way of thinking. She didn't chase down individual mosquitoes. She quietly took away the water they're born in and let the natural helpers in the garden take care of the rest. Before we get started, it's worth taking a quick look at why Grandma's approach beats the modern spray. Back then there were no plug-in vaporizers. There was window screening, a covered rain barrel, a few herbs on the windowsill, and it worked. The modern fogger, by contrast, hits the adult mosquito, if it hits anything at all, and leaves the water that produces the next batch completely untouched. 2 days later, the next generation has hatched, and you spray again. Worse, the chemical doesn't distinguish between a mosquito and a beneficial insect. The active ingredients from the pyrethroid family are highly toxic to cats because a cat can barely break them down. So you're fighting the symptom, poisoning the wrong targets in the process, and leaving the actual cause completely alone. Grandma did it exactly the other way around. To understand why her approach works so well, it helps to take a quick look at the enemy. Only the female bites, and she doesn't do it out of spite, but because she needs the protein from your blood to form eggs. She lays those eggs in water, specifically in still, calm water. The egg becomes a larva that lives in the water, and in summer warmth, that larva turns into a new biting mosquito in about a week to 10 days. The key point comes down to a single sentence: no standing water, no new mosquito. No water, no larva, no next generation. And that's exactly the lever the spray can never reach. And now here's some good news for you. The common house mosquito, as well as the newly arrived Asian tiger mosquito that bothers you in the evenings, are weak flyers that tend to stay close to home. Most stay within a range of a few hundred yards of their breeding site. That means the mosquitoes that get you every evening largely come from your own yard and your neighbours. There are species that travel long distances. The large floodwater mosquitoes from river bottomlands, for example, but those are a concern for entire regions, not for your rain barrel. The mosquito at your door is one you can actually control yourself. There's an added reason this matters right now here in the US. Alongside our native species, the Asian tiger mosquito keeps expanding its range further north. Established populations are no longer limited to the Gulf Coast and deep south. They're now found well up into the mid-Atlantic and even parts of the Midwest and Northeast. Some states now count well over 60 confirmed established locations. This mosquito is active during the day, it bites persistently, and the tricky part is that it needs barely any water to breed. A plant saucer, a discarded can, a pothole with a puddle in it is enough, and it prefers the shade. That's exactly why Grandma's approach of going after the water instead of the mosquito is even more valuable today than it used to be. Let's start with immediate protection so you can have your peace tonight. The first and most important step is so simple that a lot of people skip it, and it's the most effective of all. Just keep the mosquitoes outside. Window screening, which used to be standard in every house, is still unbeatable today. A good screen on your bedroom window and patio door costs little, lasts for years and is the difference between a peaceful night and that maddening whine at 3 in the morning. Everything else is a bonus, but the screen is the foundation. And now for the trick I promised you at the start, Grandma's famous lemon, because it deserves a proper explanation. Take a fresh lemon, cut it in half, and stick 10 to 15 whole cloves into each half. The cloves contain a fragrance compound called eugenol. The lemon itself has citrus essential oils, and mosquitoes dislike both scents. Put these lemon halves wherever you're sitting, on the patio table, the windowsill, the nightstand. Honestly, this isn't an impenetrable shield. The scent works at close range and lasts a couple of weeks before the lemon needs replacing. One small trick, press the cloves in a little first, which releases more of the oils. But as a gentle addition right at your spot, it does exactly what the title promises. It keeps mosquitoes at a distance, and not a single bee or pet is harmed in the process. Then there are the herbs that used to sit on Grandma's windowsill. Catnip is one of the best studied. Its scent has been shown to keep mosquitoes away. Add lavender, lemon balm, and scented geraniums. Set a few pots around where you sit. One thing I want to flag, especially if you have a cat or dog, the fresh plants and the clove lemon are completely safe. Concentrated essential oils from a bottle are a different story though, since some of them, tea tree oil for instance, are toxic to cats. When in doubt, stick with what people used to actually have on hand, the plant and the fruit itself. The next trick is almost too simple to be true, and it's my favourite for the patio. Set up a fan. Mosquitoes are famously weak flyers. They can't handle moving air, and your body odour and the carbon dioxide you exhale, which is how they find you, just gets scattered by the breeze. A quiet fan next to the patio table keeps the space remarkably clear. No scent, no smoke, and not a single insect gets harmed. And for nighttime, there's the most elegant solution of all. A mosquito net over the bed. A fine net stretched over the bed simply keeps mosquitoes out while you sleep or read in peace. No chemicals, no side effects, it's worked for generations. You might also remember another old trick, burning coffee grounds. Dried lightly smouldering coffee grounds on a fireproof dish can drive mosquitoes off for a short while. I'll be honest here too, the effect is limited and doesn't last long. And since it's smoke, go easy on it if kids, grandkids or pets are nearby, or if anyone has sensitive airways. The fan and the net are usually the friendlier choice. And then there are the old branches that used to be part of every summer out in the country. A bundle of fresh walnut leaves or a few elderberry branches hung by the door or laid on the table are said to keep mosquitoes away with their sharp scent. There's no solid evidence for it, it's handed down knowledge, not proven fact. But it doesn't hurt, it smells like summer, and if you've already got a walnut tree in the yard, it costs you nothing but the effort of picking a branch. Before we get to the real heart of it, feel free to tell me in the comments where mosquitoes get you the worst. On the patio, in the bedroom, out by the pond in the evening. And which of Grandma's tricks you still know and use yourself. Now for the part that really changes everything. Because immediate protection keeps mosquitoes off you, but it doesn't reduce their numbers. To tackle the problem at its root, you have to go where they're actually born, and as I mentioned, that's usually just a few steps away. Walk through your yard, your driveway, your patio, with your eyes open, and look for anything that holds even a small amount of water. You'll be surprised how many breeding sites you've created yourself without realizing it. The classic culprit is the rain barrel. Open and without a lid, it's the perfect mosquito factory. Calm, warm water as far as a larva could ask for. Grandma simply put the lid on, or stretched a piece of burlap over the top. Do the same, a tight-fitting lid or a fine taut screen with no gaps, so no female can reach the surface. Just as important are the saucers under your flower pots. After watering, each one holds water for days, and that's exactly what the tiger mosquito loves, especially in the shade. Empty them regularly or skip the saucers altogether. Then there's the bird bath, and here I want to clear something up that a lot of people rightly bring up. Birds and pollinators like bees need water in the summer, especially during hot spells. This isn't about eliminating every water source. It's about managing it so no mosquito can complete its life cycle in it. Change the water in the bird bath every 2 to 3 days. That breaks the cycle before any larva can hatch, and your birds still have fresh water available at all times. Both goals work together just fine. Let's keep going around the yard. The watering can that fills up in the rain and sits there, the old metal bucket in the corner, the folds in the tarp over the firewood, or the patio furniture, where little puddles collect after every rainstorm. Old tires behind the shed, which hold water indefinitely. The wheelbarrow, the overturned kid's tricycle with a dip in the seat, the folds in the sandbox cover, and the clogged gutter, where leaves trap water up where you never look, but the mosquito does. The rule behind all of this is simple, and you only need to remember it once. Anything that holds water and isn't needed gets dumped out or turned over. And anything that has to hold water gets emptied or covered every 2 to 3 days. Since it takes the larva about a week to become a full mosquito, this rhythm breaks the cycle every time before it can close. Now for the water you can't dump out or cover, the rain barrel you actually need for watering plants, the garden pond, the drain that holds a little standing water. Grandma had a trick for that too. She put a thin film of oil on the water's surface so the larvae up there couldn't get air anymore. It actually works. But honestly, it also suffocates other small water dwellers like water striders, and it fouls the water. The same goes for the often recommended splash of dish soap, which breaks the surface tension. It works, but it drowns the beneficial insects too and clouds the water. Fortunately, there's a gentle, targeted evolution of Grandma's idea today, and it's not a chemical, it's a soil bacterium. It's called BTI, short for Bacillus thuringiensis israelensis, and you can find it as small tablets or dunks at any garden centre or hardware store. The same active ingredient that's been used for decades in wetland and marsh mosquito control programs along the Gulf Coast and elsewhere. You dissolve a tablet in the water, and the bacterium produces a protein crystal that only affects the gut of mosquito larvae and their closest relatives. The larva eats it and dies within a few hours. The product is harmless to bees, as well as to fish, frogs, hedgehogs, and other wildlife. Your cat, your dog, and you. Even if an animal drinks the treated water, nothing happens, and you can safely use that water for your plants. I'll stay honest here too. BT. I doesn't affect only biting mosquitoes, it also affects their close relatives, the harmless midges, which in turn serve as food for fish and birds. That's exactly why you use it selectively, only in containers where mosquito larvae are actually present and never just dumped into a healthy natural pond. You'll typically find these tablets or dunks sold openly at garden centres, hardware stores, and online without any special requirements for home garden use. Dissolve the tablet in a bit of water first and stir it in, rather than tossing the whole thing into a full barrel, so the active ingredient spreads to where the larvae hang to breathe. That brings us to the last and most important idea, the one that turns a one-time cleanup into a lasting solution. Grandma's yard was full of helpers that lived on mosquitoes. The swallows and swifts hunting across the evening sky. The bats, for which a simple box mounted on the house provides a home. The dragonflies, whose larvae eat mosquito larvae in the water. The hedgehog, wandering through the flower beds at night. And here I want to address the pushback you often hear on this topic. Some people say, just leave the mosquitoes alone or the swallows and bats will go hungry. That's a fair point, and I agree with it at its core. This isn't about wiping mosquitoes out of nature. Swallows and bats need them. It's only about closing off the artificial breeding traps you've accidentally created yourself. The open barrel, the full plant saucer. The natural mosquito population in real bodies of water stays intact and keeps feeding their predators. You're not shutting down the ecosystem, you're just shutting down the flood you accidentally created in your own yard. You might be thinking about frogs. Why not just bring some into the yard? Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Adult frogs will snap up the occasional mosquito, but their tadpoles aren't reliable larvae hunters. The real work in the water is done by fish, dragonfly larvae, and water beetles. So if you have a pond, don't let it turn into standing, stagnant water. Keep it moving with a small pump and add a few fish. A goldfish in a garden pond isn't just decorative, it eats mosquito larvae about as fast as they hatch. A still dead pond is a mosquito factory. A living, moving pond full of fish is their graveyard. In the end, the yard regulates itself if you just let it. So you can put all of this into action right away. Here's the simple plan. Tonight, take care of immediate protection. Screens closed, the clove lemon on the table, fan on, net over the bed, a few pots of catnip and lavender by where you sit. Over the next few days, do one big water sweep through your yard and patio and get rid of every bit of standing water. Dump it out, flip it over, cover it up. Whatever has to hold water gets a routine, fresh every 2 to 3 days. And drop a BTI tablet into the rain barrel, the pond, and any drains. Over the season, make your yard attractive to the helpers. A bat box, a moving pond with fish, a few native shrubs, and an elderberry bush for the birds. Then check your water spots once a week. It takes 5 minutes and the rest takes care of itself. There's one thing that's not up to you though. Standing water and drains in public spaces are the city or county's responsibility. If you spot a stubborn breeding site on your street that isn't on anyone's private property, go ahead and report it to your local mosquito control district or city services. And the best part about Grandma's approach is the cost. A window screen and a mosquito net are small, one-time purchases that last for years. You probably already own a fan. A lemon and a handful of cloves cost next to nothing. BTI tablets cost just a few dollars and last the whole season. The plants cost a few dollars and come back every year. Altogether, you'll spend less than what a family spends in a single summer on sprays, refill cartridges, and plug-in vaporizers, none of which ever touch the actual cause. And you won't be poisoning anything you actually want in your yard. No bees, no butterflies, and definitely not your cat. In the end, this is about more than just mosquitoes. It's about how you approach a problem in the first place. The modern reflex is to attack whatever you can see the moment it shows up, can in hand, without any thought for what else might get caught in the crossfire. Grandma started a step earlier. She didn't ask, "How do I kill this mosquito?" She asked, "Why are there so many here in the first place, and what am I going to take away from them?" She didn't have a shelf full of sprays. She had a covered barrel, a screen in the window, herbs on the windowsill, and a lemon full of cloves on the table. Take away the problem's foundation, restore the balance, and nature handles most of the rest for you. Quietly, cheaply, and without a single bee having to die for it. Once you start looking at your yard through her eyes, you'll spot the little water traps everywhere, and you'll get rid of them long before the first mosquito ever hatches. If this was helpful, drop a like. It helps the video reach everyone else who's getting eaten alive every evening this summer. Let me know in the comments which of Grandma's tricks you remember from childhood, and which hidden water spot turned out to be the source at your place. I read every comment, and your answer might help someone else find theirs. And subscribe now, because next week I'm showing you the old method for making your grey weathered wood fence look like new again, no paint and no stain required.